mature audiences only. So sit down, shut the fuck up. You're now listening to Noise Control.
Right, welcome back everyone. We are joined by Kid Caird.
Huh.
Caird?
It's Caird. It's alright, everybody gets it wrong, but I'll appreciate it.
Yeah. Look, it's close enough.
Absolutely.
Do you get asked a lot if it's like the rapper name?
Look, the amount of times when people like see me out and they're like, "Oh, Kid Cudi," I'm like, "What? Like, no, Caird." Like the last names are not anywhere the same in terms of like the spelling, but they're still like, "Oh, you're Kid Cudi." Like a couple of weeks ago, one of my friends, Jules, he had an event at Lucy's Love Shack, or also known as The Vault. And while he was playing, I was just getting some videos of him behind stage, and then this girl taps me on the shoulder and just goes, "I know you." And I had no idea who she was, so I was like, okay, yeah. And she's like, "Yeah, you're Kid Cudi." I'm like, "Oh God, here we go again."
Have you ever thought about changing the name just for that sole purpose? You don't have to deal with drunk people getting it wrong.
Look, I have, but then there's copyright issues because Kid Caird still making music. A lot of people have asked me, like, when am I going to change my name to, like Adult Caird, because it's been Kid Caird forever. But like, there's good like meaning to me personally of like how I got that name.
Yeah,
is because Caird is obviously the last name, and then I got the nickname Kid when I got into the music industry, because before I was a DJ, I used to be a photographer.
Oh, true.
And when I started DJing when I was like 19, 20. And at that time I was doing photography. So I had my own photography business. I was working like full-time retail, like as like a 2IC manager. Started DJing, and then I was in like event promotions and stuff. So 19, 20-year-old kid going around doing like the most, as like most 19, 20-year-olds would.
Yeah.
And then anytime I would like meet someone new, they'd be like, "Oh, what do you do?" I'd be like, "Cool, X, Y, Z," and so forth. And they'd be like, "What? How old are you?" I'm like, "Like 19, 20." And they're like, "Oh, you look so much older than like, your presence. Like you look 27.
Yeah.
You're still a kid."
Yeah.
And then the nickname Kid happened for a tiny bit. So then when it got to the part where I was like, "Cool, what DJ name do I pick?" Well, Kid is a nickname. Caird's last name. Voila.
That's actually such a humble way of getting it, and a simple way as well. Some people have like such intricate ways of getting their name, and I'm like,
yeah, sometimes
keep it simple, stupid.
Yeah. So look, I'm always a big advocate of less is more.
Yeah.
And at that time, I was like, "Cool, I've got one, I've got two. Now I have the whole one."
That's it. And at least people get your name 50% right. Like the kid part, you can't really fuck that up.
Yeah,
You know
literally.
what I mean?
If anyone fucks up the kid part, like they don't know how to speak English, and it depends on what time of the morning that is. But yeah, you're right.
How did you you've had a massive year, I'd say, like a pretty decent year.
Yeah, it's look, reflecting upon it, it actually has been pretty damn big. A lot of firsts for me personally. First year I've actually constructed by myself a Australia and UK tour.
You did that by yourself?
Yeah, did by myself, just by networking, because I obviously had a whole bunch of contacts. A few event companies hit me up, obviously over here, one down in Bunbury, and just started piecing it up. I've got contacts obviously from the UK, because my wife is from the UK. Shout out Georgie, she'll love that. And because I've used to live over there for a year and year and 2 months. So while I was there, I was able to meet a whole bunch of awesome people over there. That was a awesome like sort of bucket list moment to tick off that, and just continue playing heaps of shows. I played definitely a less amount of shows this year, which was actually my goal, to play less shows and focus on actually delivering more of like an unforgettable experience.
That's what I was going to say. It seemed like, looking back, like obviously I knew of you previous to this year, but like this year, like through talking to people, they were like saying the same thing. You'd done less shows, but it was more quality to the shows. It was more like the shows you were playing were like shows you wanted to play, and they were like bigger, better. Yeah, that style of thing, instead of just your every Saturday night sort of thing.
Yeah, and like when you start off as a DJ, you want to play everywhere, you know, and you snap up any gig or any show that you want to play. But the more that I get more thrown into like making my own music, and actually starting up my own event, which was another first this year, Kid Caird's House. Never did I actually think in a million years I'd actually have my own headline event, but there was an opportunity that arose towards the start of this year. and it was just too good not to take up.
Yeah.
And yeah, now we've done 2 of them. Currently in the works for getting a 3rd one underway, hopefully start of 2024, so next year.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, in terms of shows, it's just focusing on more quality from the shows and just delivering a unforgettable experience. Like, that's my brand. Obviously with Kid being at the start of the name, I want people when they rock up to a set that I'm about to play, and from start to finish, I want them to feel like, oh, this dude up here, he's having fun. He's enjoying life. He's enjoying the music. He's getting involved. He's getting amongst it. And, he's being a bit, cheeky, childish, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
That's why I want to, that's the brand.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing though. Like, that's another, like when you go to some gigs, like, and you watch some people and it's like they've played their 10th show in a row, like every weekend, and they kind of lost that energy. It's like you can see it.
Yeah.
And it kind of, when you're standing there, you're like, oh, if he's not enjoying it, why am I enjoying it?
It's a very underrated thing that, most DJs that I come across, they're moving and grooving, to an extent. But then there's definitely some shows I've seen where, the artists have been up there and they're just, simply like not moving. They're just doing one of these.
Yeah.
And like, the crowd interact off whatever the environment or whatever the controller of the environment is, which
100%.
is, the DJ, the artist.
Especially when you're on a pedestal, like you're physically on a pedestal in most venues.
Yeah. People literally looking up to you.
Yeah.
So they're looking up to you, and if you can reciprocate that high energy, that great time, people love that. They feed off it. So that's why I've always, I've got like countless amounts of energy, so I'm always there for it.
That's a good thing. It's always a bit disappointing because like Perth, I feel like gets the dumb end of the stick. Like people come over at the end of a tour, and they're gassed, like they have no energy left, solely because they've done 4 shows like
back to back, and they're like overtired. They're probably like either from like the UK or they're from the States, so like jet lag is
they haven't got over their jet lag because they haven't had a chance because they've still been in their time zone.
Yeah,
like it's that whole
one of my boys, West End, he's from New York, actually Brooklyn, and when he announced that he was coming to Oz, he was doing I think Perth was the first leg of his tour, but he was coming over to like Sydney the week before, so I was just hitting him up like, hey, like, let's link up. He's like, yeah, awesome. And then went to the venue a bit early, caught a few of my friends playing, opening and whatnot.
Yeah.
And then, met him backstage, and he was just saying like, man, I'm jet lagged as a motherfucker, but first show of the tour, I'm ready for it. And he was like, and I've got tequila. So I think that's the secret.
Yeah,
if you have tequila, he was like, yep, tequila's an upper, and I'm ready. Let's go. And he absolutely smashed it. So
go in with a good attitude as well. Like some people obviously hate flying as well, but you have to fly to get to Australia, whereas in like Europe and America, don't necessarily have to, or it's only an hour flight, so they have to catch, what is it, like 20 hours from the States? I think it's like 20 as well.
Yeah.
From Europe's 20, it's pretty much 20 each way.
I remember a few years ago, I went over to the States just for like a holiday, and I remember flying from here to Sydney was like 4 or 5 hours, whatever that was, and then Sydney to LA was like 16 hours. So that's like 21 hours.
And if you need to go further than that, it's...
Some people do, and it's cooked, so... Yeah, he was saying luckily he had leg space. This is West End. He was saying he had leg space, and the latest Zelda game came out on Switch, so he just smashed that the whole fucking way. And I was like, you know what? I wouldn't do it any other way as well.
Yeah, you have to,
Yeah.
Or you either... I've heard stories of people like come from America and just smashing a massive like weed brownie or something, and then like doing way too much and being stuck on a plane.
Literally just like this for 16 hours.
Yeah. It'd be a terrible place to get the fucking munchies, I'll tell you that much for free.
Yeah, because the fucking, airplane food, it sucks, eh? Like,
no, airplane food's getting better, but there's not enough of it.
Okay,
that's the thing.
right.
There's like, if you're stoned and you want to eat a shit ton of food, what, you're going to be like, can I have some peanuts? And they just bring you that little bag of peanuts. And you're like, actually, I need about 6 bags.
Not 6, more like, just the whole fucking,
like, just bring everything.
Just all of it. Or like when it's like the dessert time, like the one small, like, chocolate or like fucking cookies, ice cream that you get. It's like, I need more. I need more.
I was on a flight back from the UK, and there was like 4, or from Scotland, there was 4 people, they were all friends, and then further up there were 2 of their other mates they weren't going on holiday with, and they all started drinking. And then I woke up from a nap and I was like, oh, can I grab a rum and coke? And they're like, sorry, we don't have any rum. was like, oh, can I grab a vodka and Coke? And they're like, no, we don't have any. I was like, do you have any spirits? And they're like, no, we don't. And I'll look over and these 4 people and these 2 other people are absolutely blind. They drank all the beer, all the wine, and then all the spirits.
You're kidding.
And I had won the whole 13-hour flight.
Jesus Christ. So were they just like causing a fucking ruckus on that flight?
Oh, yeah. They were they didn't stand up once because they wasn't, I swear they were that drunk. I was just sat there like, fucking serious, man.
Yeah.
I just need one drink right now.
Imagine if just like a random fucking pocket of turbulence comes and they like didn't like like buckle up or something. They're just like bang, bang. Or like the motion sickness in that'd just be terrible, wouldn't it?
I couldn't imagine being on a plane like that drunk as well. Like they were
pretty fucking
like
drunk.
18th birthday drunk.
Yeah, shit.
Like I've been drunk on a plane before, but never like I'm gonna die.
Like blasted.
Imagine. Oh no, I can't even imagine just being in a volatile state on a plane.
No, you're already like vulnerable being there, so that's why you're drinking to like push down the vulnerability.
But then
so
you're just taking it too far and become vulnerable again.
All right, if we're gonna learn anything from this chat today, is don't go get fucking plastered on a plane.
No, that's it. Bring your own snacks and don't get plastered on a plane.
And bring your own wee brownie. Eat it before you go through airport security.
Yeah, tip of the day. Make sure you take it before you.
Absolutely.
Imagine that walking through.
God. Yeah. No.
It's not really. It's trying to bring it into Australia. They wouldn't even get you for the weed part. They get you for the bringing food into the country.
No, they'd get you for like, hey, lift up the bottom of your shoe, see like a little bit.
Yeah.
So, nah. But like crazy, you mentioned that when when me and Georgie were living over in the UK. The way that how we got back into Oz, I had to leave early because her visa hadn't yet been approved to grant her like access into Oz. It was like some sort of visa, so I left early and that was fine. But then as soon as like I got pretty much like to the location that I need to in Oz, she got an email saying her visa was ready, like approved. So she was like, cool, jumped on the next flight. When she got into Oz, because where we were living at the time and when her family lived, which we were living like towards the tail end of our time there, was in Cornwall, so like very country town, very rural type stuff. So she had these shoes that like she was convinced that like, she was nervous that she was going to get pulled over because of like a lot of dirt and shit on the bottom of them, thinking like, oh no, like I know, like, border security, like there's going to be like a camera in my face. I fucking like don't want that to happen. And I'm like, no, it's not like that all the time. Like you'll be fine. But then like she got like stopped and like they were like asking her questions, and then like, she was like not hiding anything. So she told them like, oh look, I'm not too sure about these boots. So obviously they made her show her the boots, and like she was just like sweating bullets, and they were like probably inspecting it, like brushing it off, and like they had to like fully like sort of like brush it off and then like let her go. So
it's freaky though. It's like
bit gnarly.
It's getting like pulled over by the police, and it's like you could have done nothing wrong.
Yeah,
and you feel like you've done everything, like you've just robbed a bank.
I swear to God, they do that with that intent. Like, I know this person hasn't done anything wrong, but let's just see.
Let's just fuck with them a wee
bit.
Fuck
with them. Surely police officers have to. I mean, that's how they get their fun in their day, right?
Like you'd have to. You pull over someone random, just see him sweating for no reason.
Yeah, and just be like, "Do you know how fast you were going?"
Yeah.
No, you'll go on the right speed. Have a good evening.
Chug on, mate. Can't believe you're wasting my time with this.
Oh man, the worst.
So did you enjoy living in the UK?
I did. I'd always wanted to go and live in the UK. Like that was always like a dream and something I wanted to experience. If I'm being honest, the time that I went, we probably didn't time it the best for a couple of reasons. So one, the first reason was that I traveled over there in the midst of COVID still. So it was 2020, end of October. I just played like a last round of shows around Perth, and I was like, cool, I want to head over. So head over, and I still remember to this day, I touched down, like I think it was the 30th of October. This is at Heathrow Airport. I get picked up by Georgie and her old man, so father-in-law now, because we're married, and driving down from Heathrow to Cornwall was like a 5.5 hour drive.
Yeah.
So, just been on a plane for like, I don't know, 18, 20 hours and then another travel. So it was a long way, but it was still fun. And then I still remember getting into the house that evening and going to like their family room, turned on the TV, and there was a news report that was happening. They're like, oh yes, 6 p.m. tomorrow night, UK is going into their second lockdown. And I was like, what? So if I were to have traveled the week after, I wouldn't have been allowed in the UK.
Yeah.
So I left at the right time to obviously see Georgie and
But you got
be
stuck there.
But then, literally the next day, 6 p.m. happens and everybody's locked down. And that was just after Perth got out of their lockdown for however long. So I was like, cool. Had a lockdown, had like a few months of like, cool experience. Like, was back in that routine.
Yeah.
Go to the UK thinking that, it's just going to be that. And then that second lockdown lasted like 8 months.
Even worse as well than Australia.
Yeah, it was rough and very prominent out there. So, that threw a bit of a spanner into the plans of like what we originally had. And Georgie Busser, she like was like, cool, I'm going to work. You've been working your ass off to get over here. So she found a job where like you could work within obviously COVID times and whatnot. So what I did at that point is, because I had saved up quite a bit of money, so I could live off my savings for about like call it an 8 month sort of period.
Yeah.
I treated making music as like my job from Monday to Friday, 9 to 5, so office hours. I just made music. I learned so much in that time frame, in terms of like, constructing full songs, sending music off to labels, meeting people through, the internet, because it was myself and everyone in the UK that were in the same boat.
Yeah.
So everyone was just at home, obviously on their socials. So I'm actually really glad that did happen, because, I wouldn't be where I am in terms of my music journey and how I make my music if it wasn't for that sort of period.
100%. Because like you said, that 9 to 5, it's like the structure is like, between these hours I'm doing music.
Yeah.
Whereas like every other, you have a normal job and then you get home and you're like, I've got to go to the gym.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh no, I'll start at 7 o'clock, and then you get to 7, but you're already tired. So you do a couple hours and you're like, I'm pooped now.
Yeah.
Like,
And it's like that's like, you've really got to find a balance to be able to do it. So that's why like I work well off, a routine to an extent. I can be flexible with, not obviously having a routine, but just during that period, I was like, cool, I'm just going to set myself up of like, cool, this is my studio, 9 to 5, Monday to Friday. And I learned so much in that period. And then after that, that's where, we're able to go out. So Network to Heat was fortunate enough to play a few shows around in London, up in Norwich, which was, I think, a bit like an hour sort of train ride. Hang on. Blind moment. East. That's right. That's the word. Sorry, took me way too long.
I've never been to Norwich, so I couldn't even tell you where.
Yeah, it's that way. It's like London's there. It's like up that way.
It's to the coast more.
Yeah, to the coast. Yeah, and met a whole bunch of people. So yeah, it was a good time to go. A bit challenging because we were meant to be there for 2 years, but because COVID happened, and then we had to sort of like reassess our finances, and obviously I'd already popped the big question by then, if Georgie wanted to marry this old dude here, which thankfully she said yes. Oh, this kid here, yeah. I got a funny story about actually the day that I asked her that. Did you want to hear it?
You had COVID?
No, it's actually a lot funnier.
Oh, yeah, go on.
And yeah, so I had this day planned perfectly that I was going to, ask her to marry me. So one of Georgie's favorite days of the year was the day that her and her family would go and pick out an actual real Christmas tree. So they'd make a day of it where they'd go to, a lot where there's just heaps of like pine trees and shit like that. They'd all, decide, which one? This one, no, too tall, too small, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And then they would take it home, set it all up, and then just like decorate it. Obviously, like, it's cold as fuck over there during that time where it's like normal stereotypical Christmas. So, it's like, you've got the weather, they'd obviously have a fire starting, and just, Christmas music on and just like decorating it. She would not stop talking about it on the lead up to it. So I was like, cool, I think that'd be a good time, to pop the question. So the lead up to it was like a couple of days, and I like, I did, the right thing. I, sat her parents down, told them essentially for the permission, just did it a little bit old school, told all my family, my friends. So they all knew that it was going to be on the date, which was the 9th, which was actually, so it was 3 years yesterday that I asked her the question.
Oh, nice.
So morning comes around, I wake up early, I'm like, cool, yep, I'm ready, this is great. And, so I'm starting eating breakfast, and then she comes down the stairs, and she had woken up, I will say on the wrong side of the bed, but what I'll elaborate on that. So at the time, she had recently jumped to a new contraceptive pill.
Yeah.
And because she was just trying to find the right one.
Yeah.
Now, contraceptive pills fuck with
hormones.
It's terrible. It is terrible.
Yeah.
And yeah, Yeah, thumbs up.
T-
Yeah,
Tara
someone knows.
category,
Yeah. Yeah, she knows. So she was changing it and she's just trying to find the right one. So she was in that weird sort of period where I guess is sort of still figuring out. So when she came down, I could just tell like she had this like weird sort of like vibe going on. So I asked her, I'm like, what's wrong? Like, did someone die? Like, is everything okay?
Yeah.
She's like, nah, just this, like, you know, talking about the contraceptive pill and just like, I've just got this grey cloud on my head and I'm just like, just in a foul fucking mood. And I'm like, oh. And then she knew that the question was coming.
Yeah.
Right? So then she says to me, hey, Michael, if you're going to like, you know, propose to me today, can you like not? Because I'm just not in the fucking mood. And I'm like, you're kidding. 365 days of the year, you had to fucking pick this day, the day I was going to ask you to say, nah, just nah, not today. So I'm racing through my head. I'm like, okay, what the actual fuck?
If you weren't panicking before, you're panicking now.
Yeah,
right?
literally. So I'm like, okay, do I, one, honor her wishes and not ask it, but hang on a sec. Her parents were like doing like the side eye, like, hey, when you gonna do it? When you gonna do it? Like they were excited just as much as I was. And like I'd already let my family know, my friends and, you know, some of her friends. So I was like, fuck, like balancing that. And then on the second, I'm like, nah, like I could say just like, nah, fuck it. I planned it. I'm doing it. But then I have to potentially risk her, you know, being in the foul mood and whatnot. So my head's racing at the minute. So I'm like, okay, cool. My plan of attack is the whole day, I'm going to try and make her in a great mood and hopefully we can get her there. So I was being like slick as hell. Well, I thought I was anyway.
With Riz.
Well, yeah, whatever.
So much Riz.
Oh, whatever the fuck you want to call it, really. But like when we were like driving to the lot to pick up the Christmas tree, like I was like, I go to Charlotte, who is Georgie's mum, and I was just like, Charlotte, I don't think you've ever told me the story about how Richard popped the big question to you. Could you tell me the story, please? While Georgie was in the car.
Yeah.
So like, and she was like, oh, I would love to, Michael. She picked up instantly what I was doing, and I was like, yes, Charlotte, thank you. So she was like, yeah, so it was this happened. And, you know, like Georgie was like, oh, I love hearing this story. So I was like, cool, we're working, we're getting there. We get to pick out the Christmas tree. She's excited. You know, we're getting like obviously all there. We get home and, you know, we start putting up the Christmas tree. Now, and I worked it up. Now, unfortunately, the circumstances at that point when we're all there is Georgie's brother and her partner, they had got their own Christmas tree and lived at a different location, but they didn't drive. So when we all got back, they asked Richard and Charlotte if they could drop them sort of like home after.
Yeah.
And normally, apparently in their tradition, their family tradition, when they get home, it's like instant Christmas music, decorate the Christmas tree, and then you do whatever you need to after. But obviously it was getting a bit late at that time, and, you know, it was getting a bit cold, which is completely fair. Like, there's no queries, concerns about that. So they're like, oh, yeah, no, cool. We needed to take them home. And, you know, and so they obviously left to do that. And then I think because of the contraceptive pill, Georgie was just like, I want to decorate the Christmas tree, but, you know, I want to do it with the family around. So just sort of like sitting, waiting around. So I was like, fuck. All that work like I did out the day to like get the vibe up, and it was like, I could just see it sort of like simmering. So I'm back to panicking. I'm like, fuck, what am I doing? I don't know what I'm doing. So I go up to our room and I'm just like literally like pacing up and down. And I'm like, I don't know. And like there was this drawer that the ring was in, and she knew that drawer was like the no-go zone. But I was like, okay, maybe I'll just like hang on to it. So I open up this drawer, and Georgie knows her room so fucking well that she hears that drawer. She knows what it sounds like open. So she told me after, she was like, I heard that noise, and I instantly was like, dog, ears up, and then ran straight up the stairs. So I grabbed, and in that time, I grabbed the ring, the box of ring, about to put in my pocket, and she's literally like almost at the door like there. So I'm like in there, like pocket, and she's like, what did I hear? And I'm like, I have to think of fucking something off the top of my head. Now at the time, like my shoulder was actually sore. So I was like, oh, yeah, it's just my shoulder's really sore. What I didn't realize that I was doing is I was like, yeah, shoulder, it's sore. And I did that for 10 minutes, just looking off in the space like this. So she's like, nah, what the fuck, Michael? Like, something's going on and you're not telling me. So she's like, constant, like, no, tell me. I know something's wrong. I know something's up. Have I like said something? And just like kept listening. I'm like, nope. And it was back and forth for like about 5 or so minutes. And I was like, fine, all right. Today was going to be the day. I was going to propose to you. This was the plan, all that sort of stuff. So I told her the whole plan. First thing she says after I tell her the plan. She's like, I fucking knew it. I told you. You were going to do it today. I knew it. I'm like, yes, well done. You fucking...
You won.
You won. You picked that one out. But then we got talking more, and I sort of said to her, I was like, look, now that it's obviously out in the open, you know the plan. I'm actually kind of glad it didn't go that way because, well, if you've ever met me and Georgie before, which you guys have, and to anyone that's out there, we are all about having a laugh and being like real and genuine. And I felt at that moment that was like a realistic, genuine, like us talking about it, us talking about, you know, the idea of obviously, you know, like, hey, want to fucking marry you type stuff.
Yeah.
So I was talking to her about that, and I then said, look, in short, if you don't want it to be today that I asked the question, that's fine. But I'm asking you tomorrow. And if it's not that day, then I'm asking you today because we ready out here.
Yeah. I can't keep replanning this
literally,
stuff.
like, you know, that was a fucking lot of work.
If we're buying a Christmas tree every day to do this, we're doing it.
God, that would be fucking expensive, right?
A lot of Christmas trees.
Yeah, so I was like, cool. If it's not today, that's fine, but it's going to be the next day, not going to be the next day. And she goes, all right, well, let's go back downstairs. Let's keep decorating the Christmas tree, and we'll see. So I was like, okay. Does that mean tonight still might be potentially the night? She goes, maybe. And I was like, right, okay. Well, I just have one more question for you. And then that's when I just like grab the ring, pop the knee, open it up, and I was like, cool, will you marry me? She goes, yes. In like that like high-pitched sort of noise. And yeah, that's pretty much the story. I still laugh at it to this day.
That's a humble story though.
Oh yeah, it is. And
in typical true fashion, it's never like the movies, is it? It's never that whole like...
Well, no, like a lot of our friends that have like been like, you know, married since that time, and like, you know, they've told us all about their stories. Like one of my other friends said that in Japan, which was at their favorite place, it was snowing. She's like, oh, I smell food, walk off. And then like the bloke, his name's Luke, he was like, he like just let her go off for like a couple of steps, and he just like drops her knee and like this path, he goes, hey, turn around, and it's just like pops it. And it was like the way he's told it, they both told me it was just like a beautiful story. And I'm like, fuck, Georgie, why the fuck couldn't we have done that? You just had to fucking guess on the day. So we still laugh about it too.
That's like my boss. He told me that he's terrible at keeping secrets.
Yeah.
And he I don't know if he let it drop or whatever, she found the ring or whatever, and he had to think on the fly, and she was like getting ready to go out, and he kind of just had to like sit there with the dogs. He kind of fumbled it a bit because he was meant to do it when they went out.
Oh,
he
right.
fumbled it, and he was just like, oh well, I did it.
Just like, oh well, here we are.
It happened.
Yeah, but no, it was a good story.
What does your wife think of your music career then?
Ooh, I mean, if you got honest, Georgie should probably say make more fucking disco and more funky stuff.
Is that what she likes?
Oh, she loves it. But like, I also love it as well. Like, I love mixing in a bit of funk, disco, like that whole sort of like
70s, 80s style.
Yeah, that music is like a lot of that music was what I was brought up on. You know, like my mum, she introduced me to a lot of, you know, Madonna, Sophie Ellis Baxter, you know, that sort of era. And my old man, he was like pure rock music, so like your stereotypical like Led Zeppelin, AC/DC. So, you know, I love more my heavier house music. That's definitely from my old man. And then like the more disco sides, like from my mum. So merge the two, you've got the Kid Caird tech house sound. Yeah. But on the subject of Georgie and my music career, no, she, from obviously what I know, and I know this very confidently, she's my biggest supporter and always has been. You know, she knows like what I need to do when I'm there. She knows that I want to deliver an unforgettable experience, and you know, she will be there to help with that by like, you know, getting content, you know, going to like the lighting guy, you know, sometimes I've even seen her like while playing, like pressing a few buttons, getting amongst it. You know, she's my biggest supporter and always will be.
That's what you need though, like someone that's like that. Even if they're not like some people, partners aren't 100% into the music they make or like, but they're there, like the commitment is there. They're like, well, fuck.
Yeah.
I have to go listen to Pots and Pans for 2 hours, but
Pots and Pans. Bang, 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 bang. Now, one thing that like I've always respected Georgie for is like, as I said earlier, I have like countless amounts of energy, and I always will have that because, you know, diagnosed ADHD, which we can touch on later if you have any questions about that. I
know the feeling.
Yeah, cool. But like, yeah, because I have countless amounts of energy, like I'm just always like ready to go. And like Georgie's very much like, oh, I love my sleep and needs her sleep and like likes to rest.
Sounds like her.
Yeah,
Straight up.
So like there'll be times where I'm like, hey, I want to go to like this festival. I want to go to this event. You know, most of the time, if it's like festivals, events, you know, I'll be playing. But then there are times where I'm just like, hey, I just want to have, you know, a day off or a night off and go witness some music, socialize a bit, you know, talk to some of the artists, you know, if met them before or met them on socials and whatnot. And, you know, there'll be times where she'll be like, yeah, cool, I'll come along. But then she will not like hesitate and not like bat an eyelid to be like, nah, that's all you go. I'm staying at home. I'm doing all this shit. And she's just, like has full confidence in me to go do that. I've got full confidence in her to just go do that. And it works. And I love it. And I thank her every day for it.
It's the best way to have ADHD, like energy, is like someone that just goes, do you know what? I can't fucking deal with you being at home, me saying, no, we're not going. So you just go and come back tired, and then you come back and you're not tired anyways.
I
but
definitely reckon that's probably her mindset. Just like, you're so fucking annoying.
It's like a dog. You just take it to the park and just let it out. Just let it run.
Sometimes we'll go for like walks and then, well, I would say runs, but not really. We like run for 3 seconds and we're like, so it's more like walks. But basically, we love dogs so much. So like, she will get the same amount of energy as I do, like every day, every weekend when I'm at the clubs, when she sees dogs. Like, I kid you not. She just, like, I don't know where she pulls it from. I don't know how she gets it. But as soon as a dog is, like, within a vicinity of, like, patting and just, like, you know, like, playing and just, like, staring the shit out of it, she's just like, oh, fuck, and just straight to it.
Alive.
Yeah, literally.
It's
so
crazy,
funny.
It's different, like, different people's, like, pickups.
Yeah.
Like, I have energy all the time, just like you probably do. But, like, some people are like that. It's just, like, one thing.
Yeah.
It's, like, pickup.
It's crazy. So, for Georgie, it's hers, it's dogs. Mine, or just anything.
And anything that requires you to think.
Yeah, actually.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's my thought on it. Anything to think. Do you reckon it, like, not inhibit? Is it inhibit? Yeah, that's
Inhibit?
Do you reckon, not the event, no, but do you reckon your ADHD inhibits you from making some forms of music that you want to make? Not forms, but like when you have to really think about something, do you reckon it influences that?
Well, if anything, like, so when I started making music, I actually struggled to make music and to actually build on ideas and actually find something that, like, I could, like, build on, because whether it was I was just getting distracted by another idea, or whether it was just I just didn't have the capacity to focus in on that, you know, it was just happening. So when I learned to make music, I went to Lab 6, did a couple of music production courses with Jeremy, who was the CEO, learned a lot of him, and I had all this knowledge, but at the time, obviously, I was undiagnosed ADHD, and I just couldn't write any music. Or if I did, I released like a couple of songs, which are still released on Spotify. They sound like shit. Don't bother go listening to them. I keep them there for certain reasons. That reason is that's where I started. Listen to my latest song. That's where I'm at now.
Yeah.
It's a good reflection point. But just warning to anyone, if you're going to go listen to my old music, pre-warn, it sounds like us. So there were a couple of those songs. But when I, like, you know, I just kept trying to make music, kept trying to put songs together, and it just wasn't working. So I was like, cool. Had a proper think about it, and I was like, right, I think I do have ADHD. This was like maybe 4 or 5 years ago. So I was like, cool. Took the right necessary steps to, you know, go to my GP, go to a psych, all that sort of stuff.
Jump all through the hoops.
Pretty much, but like after the first meeting, pretty much the dude was like, yeah, right, we're going to start you on like a trial, but without like saying it, he was like, yeah, this dude, you definitely got it. And I was like, cool, no surprise there. And I still remember this day so clear. I went to, you know, obviously, like, you know, had the medication, and I think the instructions was like, I need to take 2 in the morning, 2 at lunchtime, and it had just been lunchtime. So I was like, cool, take 2 there. And then I sat at my computer, like just this, open up my laptop, and I had this song that was like maybe 15, 20% complete.
Yeah.
And within 2 hours, I took it from 15, 20% complete to like 85, 90% complete.
Shit.
I was just so focused in the zone.
Yeah.
That song is Ballin', which is, again, released on the old Spotify, so go stream it, please. You know, shameless plug.
Yeah,
Not shameless, because I have no shame. But that song was a real turning point for me personally, because I could actually still listen to that song to this day.
Yeah.
I can play it out live. Like, I was really, really happy.
It was like that song that pivoted your whole...
Yeah, my mindset, and that was what I've like grown on, and that's what has kept the older sort of techno sound alive. So, and I would just remember after 2 hours, I just sort of sat back and I'm like, what the hell is going on?
Is this how normal people feel?
Yeah, maybe, surely. Yeah, so that is how ADHD, and obviously, the story about how I probably realized, oh shit, this is actually something.
Yeah.
And because I think of ADHD and all that sort of stuff, it's helped me get more of an understanding of music. I've kept to like very much like tech house with funk disco and bass house and even like different sort of music influences, but I've just always loved like the more heavier side, but also keeping it in the house elements type realm.
Yeah.
Some people love it, some people like different aspects of it, which is totally fine. At the end of the day, music is an art, and everyone hears it, feels it, interprets it in a different way. But I've been attempted making drum and bass, which I've got many songs that probably will never see the light of day, ready to sort of go.
Yeah.
I'll probably have to get someone that's at a high drum and bass level or a status to sort of listen to it, whether he can tell me it's shit or not.
Yeah.
But I've just kept to house music because it's literally what I enjoy most.
You're probably the only person that I know that feels qualified to tell me, because I'm not a big house guy, and I tell you this every time.
Yes, you do.
But like, to me, like not house music, all saying the same, because I've started diving into it a bit more, like more tech, like getting into like more sort of like
the different genres,
grungy sort of techno stuff, and I've kind of like started dabbling in like the house, and I've always loved like bass house, but I feel like that's kind of a universal, like the music I like drum and bass is kind of like the side of house music I like. I just can't get around like actual house music. Is there a reason why, you reckon?
Look, house music is for a lot of people, but at the end of the day, house music might not be for some people. You know? Like, house music has been the music genre that has been around for one of the longest, in my opinion, and to my knowledge.
Yeah.
And it's that universal kind of language, in a sense, that the beat per minute that you get within house music is like a normal, natural beat per minute of like, a standard heart rhythm and, movement. And, it doesn't require so much intensity and so much like force in terms of like if you're dancing or if you're DJing or if you're actually making it. Everyone that I've spoken to and everyone that, I know that are in the industry all about house music have all, said something like that to me, in a sense, on the same sort of, concept. If you yourself, you listen to drum and bass, listen to more of the bass side of things, and you said that bass house is probably what resonates more with you, because bass house has those elements that drum and bass and dubstep does have. That's why that would relate to it. House music doesn't really have a lot of that bass sort of element, so that's probably why it wouldn't resonate with you yet. I was like that, and then house music found its way, and let me tell you, house music always finds its way.
Well, that's the thing. It's like it always starts with one song.
Yeah.
It's like that one song you hear, oh, this is pretty good.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh, this guy, let's just go do a deep dive on him.
Yeah.
It's like Black Crows.
Kid Caird.
Yeah. Well, it's like Black Crows have started releasing tech songs.
Yeah, I have seen that.
Like, actually. And that's why I've kind of been on like a little bit of a tech binge, is just like, well, if they're making, because they came from like making more upbeat like drum and bass stuff.
Yeah. Even Skepta's been making house music, which I love. It's so awesome.
That bloke's he could make anything and it'd be gold.
Oh, he can, but like he's actually like, there's an interview that I think he's done with Mr. Jam on Kiss FM, and he's just talking about it. It's like, if you love music, you love house music.
Yeah.
And like when I watched that, I was like, that is so true. Because like, when I started to DJ, I started as a drum and bass and dubstep DJ.
Oh,
but
true.
because I was DJing and loving that music, through like the back end on like, people knew me as like the bass, sort of one of the bass DJs in Perth, but I was always mixing house music in like my bedroom and just for fun. That was always the genre I liked mixing, and it was always the genre I loved listening to. Yeah. So it's true what Skepta says, like if you love music in general, you love house music. You maybe just don't know it yet. Yeah.
I'm open to it. Is it right? Well, is there tracks that you would recommend that like kind of for like a beginner's, like
Move Your Body, Marshall Jefferson's Solado. Definitely it was one of the songs that I listen to, and it makes you happy. It makes you smile.
Yeah.
You know, listen to any Camel Fat song as well.
That's true.
You know,
Camel Fat.
Gola.
Yeah.
That was like, you know, just like that song to me was like a cool, that like less is more, you know, you know, just that minimalistic vocals on it, but you just hear like these groovy elements, and you can actually like, you know, I'm diving a bit deep into it now, but like to me, when I hear that song, like I move with that song in time of like the groovy sort of drums to it. And, you know, music has that power to just, you know, make someone move in that sort of sense. So they're two songs that, you know, I would, you know, suggest listening to if you want to get amongst it.
And then just keep diving down the rabbit hole.
Absolutely. The rabbit hole is fun, let me tell you.
The rabbit hole never ends as well.
Yeah.
Like,
well, that's the whole point of a rabbit hole, right?
is it?
I don't know.
I don't know. Or is it an iceberg? Those iceberg. Have you seen the iceberg videos?
Oh, yeah, it's like,
where it's like
the top, and then
it's
the bottom.
like,
It's like,
it's like some random fucking fact.
yeah.
I get down that rabbit hole on YouTube.
Oh,
It's just like
the randomest facts. Tell me a random fact now, then.
a random fact about what?
Just anything. If you say you go down a rabbit hole, just what's one of the most randomest facts that you are aware of that you can tell the podcast now?
Oh, you've stumped me. You've actually stumped me, eh? Nah, I'm
Can't
stumped.
think of it.
I'm stumped.
Yeah. Okay.
You go. You got any random facts?
What is it? Polar bear's fur is actually black, not white. Pretty sure.
Or
Yes,
is it their skin?
we got confirmation.
No, I think it's the skin, isn't it?
Oh, skin. Fur, skin, potato.
Same thing.
Hey, at least I was able to say a fact.
Yeah, I can't. Yeah,
Dalmatian dogs are born without spots.
they grow them.
I did not know this.
Yeah, she told me this the other day.
Is this brand new information?
Just not in the Dalmatian tier, mate.
Yeah, well,
100 Dalmatians was a lie.
yeah, literally. Well, no, but they're 100 Dalmatians. Like the puppies are already like dogs, right? So if the fact is they're not born with them, although wait, no, you actually okay, no, you're right, you are. It's a yeah, okay.
I didn't know that. True.
The more you know.
The more you know. I'm stumped with the fact, eh?
Yeah, it's all right. We can move on.
Yeah, we can move on. Lab 6, because you mentioned that earlier.
Yes.
Explain to people, Lab 6 to me is a very, like, not ominous. Like, it's a very, I don't know anything about it, but I know about it. It's like one of those things, you know,
It's
I
like
know what.
It's like Fight Club.
Yeah.
You
It's
don't
like
talk about Fight Club.
You don't talk
But no,
about Lab 6.
we definitely talk about Lab 6. So what Lab 6 is it's a school. It's a school where you can come and you can learn how to DJ off professional DJ equipment, and you can learn how to make music. You know, we've got a whole bunch of instructors, myself including. You've got Jeremy, as I've said earlier, who's the CEO. You've got Isaac, so Solstar. He does, you know, a lot of, you know, music production lessons. Tina, I believe, does lessons here and there. So, you know, we've had many instructors, you know, still do some lessons, you know, come and gone. You know, Shock One has done stuff.
True.
I think it was one of the sorry, I forget his name, but the actual DJ from Pendulum, he did a sort of stint.
El Hornet.
El Hornet, that's it, yep. We had Lude do a couple of months. That was years ago before he moved to Sydney. So a lot of big names.
Is he from Perth?
Yeah, he's a Perth boy.
Fuck me, I knew it. Fucking knew it. Everyone kept telling me no, he's from Sydney. I'm like, no, he is from Perth. He is 100%.
Well, actually, no. I think he's a Tassie boy. So him and his cousin, they were Tassie boys. And then he, I think, moved to Perth. That's where I met him when I did photography.
Yeah.
Back when, like, you know, I think I can't remember the event name, but it was like it was a Sunday night, public holiday, whole entire club full. It was actually Magnet House, but when it was Capital.
The good old days.
Yeah, good old days. You know, going back then. And yeah, that was like when trap was so like alive, and it was great. And I just remember like shooting that event, and that's where I like first met Christian. And the person that he is to this day, that's who I first met. And he's just stayed true to his guns. And it's so awesome to see him blow up. And I caught up with him the last time he was in Perth. I think he was playing at Inhibit at the Court. And like, I just was like, I remember I like got into the event. Me and Hudson were playing back to back. That was like one of the like last drum and bass shows like I've done, because I would still do it if like the time's right, because why the hell not?
Yeah.
And then like I was like in the crowd, and all of a sudden I hear this, Mikey! Turn around, and it was Christian, and I'm like, oh, what's up, fucker? Just good catching up with him. Yeah, so he's a Perth boy. He used to do a couple of months of like, you know, music production stuff at Lab 6. But yes, sorry, going off the tangent, back to Lab 6, the story behind it. So, yeah, it's a place where you can go to learn how to DJ, how to make music. It's where I went to learn how to DJ, because before that I was just doing bedroom DJ stuff, and you know, you'd have mates come over and be like, yeah, that's fucking sick, man, that's awesome, but it's like, well,
if anyone decent heard you, they'd be like, what the
well,
fuck?
you don't know, because I didn't know anyone at that time in terms of like my sort of like contact list and like in terms of networking, and I only had like one of those, like I think I had like the DDJ SP1, which was like just sort of like probably controller like about that size going off a laptop. So I knew I loved already this hobby, and I wanted to take it further. And I knew a couple of my mates had gone to Lab 6. I followed them on Instagram, got an understanding from it, and I was like, you know what, fuck it. Like I remember at that part in my life, I started to study again after having like 2 years off, and I think it was like something I like TAFE of like events management. I think I saw events management. I'm like, surely that's music. Cool. Let's go spend some money. Let's go do that. And then like it got like not even 2 weeks into it, and I just was like lost focus, and I was like, no. And I remember I went to my parents. I was like, cool, I want to pay this money to go do this DJ course. And they sort of looked at me. They were like, you're already doing photography. Like, why are you wanting to do this? And I'm like, well, I know, like, I want to give it a shot.
Yeah.
And they're like, at first they were obviously skeptical. And I completely understand it. I have no, like problems with them being skeptical, because if they had my best interest at heart with it.
Yeah, that's it.
So they were like, look, we don't think it's a good idea. You know, bit of back and forth. And, you know, they got to a sort of extent like, well, look, you're paying for it. And I was like, cool, I'm also thinking about dropping out of TAFE. And they're like, what? So again, that was another conversation, but they're like, cool, if you're going to drop out of TAFE, you need to like do it now, because it was coming to like a threshold where I could like get some of the money back. Yeah. So I think like the course was like about, I don't know, $3,000 or something.
Yeah.
So I pulled out, and then I got like, I think it was like 2.5 back or something. So pretty much most of it back. And then I remember after I got that back, I purchased upgraded my DJ equipment with like a DJM 800 and two XDJ 1000 Mark 1s.
Getting bigger.
Yeah, so I was like, cool, had that set up, paid for the Lab 6 course, and it was the best thing I ever done, because, you know, that I was able to learn how to DJ on club equipment, and then I took the skill set I learned from there, made a few mixes, sent it out to some promoters at the time, because I had the equipment back home. I was just practicing non-stop. That's actually where my best mate Hudson, which obviously you guys know, I taught him how to DJ, but he just would always come over to the house. I taught him how to DJ, got him his first couple of gigs, and then he took the reins with it. So not many people know that.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. So, yeah. And if anything, me teaching Hudson was sort of like a credit to Lab 6, because I sort of like followed like very much the course outline of like, cool, I learned this in this week, so you're going to learn this in this week type stuff. And
2 for 1 deal. You're just ripping Lab 6 off.
Oh, yeah, and I work for him now. Yikes.
They called you on that one, didn't they?
Sorry, Jeremy. But yeah, so then, that's where I learned to DJ. I took that for a few years. Then I did music production courses. And look, in short, Lab 6 is a great place to just learn, speak to industry professionals, and it's realistic in my personal opinion. Like I say to all my students now that I'm teaching, one thing that, you know, I personally know that I can excel at is I've been in their shoes of actually, like, you know, you're nervous, you don't know like what sort of you're wanting to get out of it, you know, but you're passionate and you love music, right? So, you know, I've been in their shoes and I've worked my way up, and now I'm the instructor teaching them all about it. So one of my strengths is I can explain anything that may seem complex or might seem confusing at first. I have a way of just being like, right, you think it's this confusing? I'm about to break it the fuck down and make it so simple. It's just like, cool, it's this and it's this and it's this. And the amount of times they're like, oh, okay.
That makes sense, because they're looking at it as the whole picture. And obviously when you look at something as a whole picture, you're like, shit, it's just overwhelming, and like you can't break it down. But then soon someone goes, it's 1, 2, 3, and 4. Yeah.
Sometimes it is overwhelming. That's like anything though. Anything new that you start out and, you know, you're wanting to learn about. You know, it's a mixture of emotions. So that's, I know what one of my strengths is. And, you know, just about, you know, following that pattern, keeping it less is more, because a lot of the time less is more. Teach my students the basic fundamentals and then grow in it, because there's no point trying to teach them all the most advanced stuff like in lesson 1. Excuse me. Oh, God. I'm just epitome of health right now. So there's no point trying to teach them something super advanced if they haven't already learnt the basic
Yeah.
blocks. So, look, Lab 6, it's a great place. I obviously know. I've been there. I teach there. But, you know, I highly recommend it. Anyone that wants to learn, you know, we teach it in a way that I personally haven't seen been matched around Perth. There are, you know, other DJ companies, other music production companies that all have, you know, their sort of like niche, like SAE Institute, where you actually dive into mixing studios, and like it's like a full big ass room like this with a full mixing deck, like working at the most highest level. That's their market, and like they teach it so goddamn well. Jeremy actually did a course at SAE, learned all of the intricate stuff that he now has that knowledge of, and that's how he came up with Lab 6, because he realized there was a missed market for people, and a kind of like a realistic market. He explains it of, you know, he went to SAE and every day they're working on the most expensive equipment, studios, recording equipment, that it's thousands and thousands of dollars worth.
Yeah.
But realistically, is every person that's going to be making music going to be working in that environment? No. At most, a lot of the time, what they're going to have is just a laptop and a door of some description. And that's it. And that's what I had. So Jeremy sort of noticed that. Well, not Jeremy sort of noticed that. The people that formed Lab 6 was Luke Chang and Zeke Beats. But when it came, they started off as a DJ course first, but then they've got in Jeremy, because at that time Jeremy was like, cool, there's a bit of a missed market there, but he wasn't going to really, I think, take anything, like do much of it until Lab 6. I can't remember if they approached him or he approached them, and then Jeremy just started working for Lab 6 as the music production instructor, teaching more the realistic side of like, cool, this is your laptop, this is your door, we're going to teach you how to use it so you can, like, you know, make music on the go and travel with it and stuff like that. And I think it's the most like best and easiest way to learn how to do it.
Well, that's it. It's like it comes down to the basics as well. Like you were saying before, like the basics. You can't go learn on all this equipment if you don't know how to do it on your laptop.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like you can have a million buttons, but if you don't know how to do it, then you're just staring at heaps of buttons that you don't know how to use at all. It's
like I said earlier, you know, you could teach someone the most advanced stuff to do, but then if you don't know the basics, you're a bit stuck.
Yeah, 100%. Well, what was I going to go with that? Fuck. How long's Lab 6 been about?
Oh, God. I easily would say, I mean, I've been DJing about 7 years, so surely about 10 years.
Shit.
I'd say. Maybe even longer.
Has it always been here?
It's always been in Perth. I think the first location was near the McDonald's, like on Beaufort Street, like in that sort of area, like near where like Villa is.
Yeah.
And then the second location was on Charles Street, next to Beyond Skate.
Yeah.
And now it's we have got our studio at Hen House.
Yeah, where we are.
Yeah, where we are.
We're
right
at
now.
Hen House. Do you reckon it's better here than the other spots?
Oh, I definitely like this venue a lot. The last location, it was nice in terms of we had a lot of rooms and, you know, we had a lot of space, but it was just too much space and it wasn't like worth the money or the investment from it. So
because Charles Street would be pretty pricey.
It definitely was up there from what Jeremy informed me. Never informed me numbers, but he would. You can
just imagine, hey.
Well, you could tell he was just stressed constantly, and I'm like, Jeremy, why are you stressed? And he's like, ah. But yeah, here is definitely so much more nicer, so much more organized, and we've just got this room where we, you know, you could DJ, you can make music, and it's a great space.
I feel like this whole like Hen House as a whole is like a very good creative environment. Like,
oh yeah, and it's a great place to, like, you know, cross paths of like-minded individuals, and you know, that love music, love making music. You know, it's a great place.
Even if, because there's a lot of bands and stuff here, even like we've been here and used the DJ room and stuff, it's like everyone's friendly.
Yeah.
Like it's that creative, like mutual respect. It's like, I'm not into your beat boop sounds, and we're like, we're not into your heavy metal shit. But but there's that mutual understanding of like, you're here to try.
There's even times where like I'll be listening to it and it'd just be like this like heavy metal band going at it, and I would just be like, yeah, that's got a good beat to it. Nice.
Sitting out there and hearing the people up in the one room that's not soundproofed at fucking all.
Oh yeah, try using one of the bathrooms, which is right below that room.
Yeah.
It's fun times.
Someone falls through playing the guitar and you're just sitting there.
Just like, hey, how you doing?
Just chilling, man.
Just chilling. How about you? Fell through a roof? Oh, nice. Yep, cool. Love your work.
So you recommend Lab 6 to
Of course, I might be a bit biased because, I work for Lab 6, but I always recommend it. Yeah.
Yeah?
Oh, absolutely. If now you should know a little bit more about it because you said that you didn't know about it. You knew Lab 6, but you didn't know Lab 6. Now I better see you doing some courses there.
God, I couldn't. I don't DJ, mate, at all. Can't do it.
Yeah, because you haven't been to Lab 6 yet.
True. If that's the magic pudding.
Absolutely.
Watch out. The festival scene, I feel like in Perth, is not catered towards like house music in a sense that like there's no festival that's like, you can prove me wrong because it's not my scene, that's like purely dedicated to the house sort of techno scene.
If we're talking about the festival scene within Perth of like, are we talking about like big caliber events of like, say like, you listen out, or by just in general?
Like in general, like, yeah.
Like there is an awesome house music and techno scene within Perth. And it's very vibrant right now. That's a really courtesy to a lot of the, I guess groups really pushing it. So like, you've got Isaac and Bailey that run the Vault. They actually run Together Group.
Yeah.
So they're doing the Vault, the Get Down Club. They've been, they paired up, and I've been watching their journey from
it's crazy,
get-go, and the way that they both work together has been awesome. And the things that they've been able to accomplish for themselves, but then also for the actual scene, they're making it alive. And, it's been awesome to see. So they've been like, the current, like I would say, stapleholds of, driving house music and techno within Perth. In terms of festivals, we do have festivals going off at like, I'm playing towards like the end of December a few times at Coast Port Beach for Motif Open Air and Kaylee Day, Kaylee and Cargo. So one's on Boxing Day and then one's going to be on New Year's Day. They're all about house music. If you go down to the beat stage, you definitely find me there. If I'm not playing, I'm going to be front center just having a dance and a groove because I love it. But that's just always house music, and that's, at pretty much a festival level if you've ever been to one of those events. But I do agree with you to an extent. Like Perth very much, it does have more, I would say, bass music. And when you look at festivals and current festivals, a lot of it is catered to the bass music stuff. There's not that there's anything wrong with it. It's just different locations in the world will have different sort of drivers. But it's funny you mention that because I see that, and I see that cool. Perth has got a good mixture of your bass music scene for festivals, your house music, even your indie rock bands like Summer Factory have really been pushing. Like I think the other day I was going through my Instagram stories and I saw that San Cisco sold out, and everyone was just getting amongst it, and it is awesome to see bands 100%. Like that. Spilt Milk was the other weekend, and I would say 80% of their lineups were actual like bands. Yeah. Driving that. So it's really cool to see all genres of music getting their sort of limelight within the festivals season. But if we're talking about like house music stuff, I've had a lot of people talk to me and say, Michael, house music is your thing. We all know this. Everyone in Perth knows this, but Perth might not be the spot for you, or they think that Perth isn't the spot for me. Cool, Sydney is going to be the place, or Queensland, Melbourne, somewhere that isn't Perth because, it may not be as prominent or dominant in Perth than it might be in other locations. I've had people come and be like, why did you move back from the UK? Because UK is house music. Yeah. And I agree with them. I think, UK, so much history when it comes to house music, electronic music, being in the mix of it there. And I got to witness that. I've traveled over east to, Queensland, Sydney, Melbourne, and there is a really, really massive house music scene, techno scene.
Especially in Melbourne.
Yeah, it's massive and it's awesome. It's great to see. I have this mindset, and it kind of drives me a bit, right? So hear me out on this. I want to put Perth on the map for house music.
I'm so glad you said that because I was thinking that. I was like hoping you were going with that.
Yes. So
you want to be that man.
Well, I do want to be that man, and like the quality of life here in Perth, like it's awesome.
Second to none.
Yes, absolutely. We've got a great lifestyle here. We do have a great music scene, no matter what anyone else 100%.
Says. It might be a bit small. I think that's the other people looking at it. It's smaller.
Yeah.
And they go, smaller is not as good, and it's like,
but it's it's intense, but it's also better in a way. Like I love the intimacy that we can get here in Perth, and like you can actually connect more with people, and you can actually interact with them more. As I said earlier, that's what I want to build my brand on. So when people say things like that, and they're not saying it out of anything bad, they're just sort of like, you deserve to go so much more. And I'm like, cool, yeah, I want to keep going, and I want to I'll do this pretty much to the day I die. Like I'm going to be that 70-year-old grandpa still at the rave, grooving along to fucking house music. Like watch this space
in the wheelchair doing dollies.
Literally, why not? But I like using that as motivation for me. Like a lot of people have told me, no, Perth might not be the spot, but I'm like, no, you know what, Perth is going to be the spot. I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing, and I'm going to enjoy every step of it along the way. I'm in a very good position where me and Georgie, we are fortunate enough to be able to go back to the UK hopefully at least once a year. So every time I go there, I've got a good amount of connections over there. So I'm already piecing together a few shows that I can hit a couple of them along the way when we obviously go there next. But I'm gonna do it.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. It's like, especially nowadays, the world is so connected.
Yeah,
that you can just hop on a flight over east.
Yeah,
you could solely play shows in Sydney, Melbourne, Brisbane, and you could fly every weekend over there to play shows.
Yeah,
and then come back.
Costs a lot of fucking money though.
Yeah, it would.
With flights from fucking Virgin and Qantas if you ever want to fly them, but yeah, that's another topic.
That's a deep dive. Yeah, but it's that sort of thing. It's easier in Europe, obviously.
Yeah.
But here, you can do it. You get booked for a show over east. You can go play that show. It's not like back in the early days where it cost 5 times what you were getting paid for the show sort of thing. Yeah. And you couldn't, and you still had to find accommodation. You still had to get around and stuff like that. Yeah. Nowadays, stuff is so accessible.
Yeah, which is, it's awesome. And I know, like, the scene over east, it's obviously one of the biggest. So, if I'm over there, if anything, like, I'm like one of the smallest fish in the biggest ponds. But, like, that's the way the cookie crumbles, and I'm fine with that. I've already met a whole bunch of people online, and I started this year. I went to Sydney just to literally network. One of my mates, Cormac, who's quite a big house music artist in Sydney, he ran his first event called Batch Series 1. I was like, dude, I was going to go over to Sydney for that date anyway. I'll literally fly over, and I'm like going to be there. And he's like, if you're going to fly over there, like, man, like, I'll like sort you out, don't worry. So I was like, cool. Paid for my ticket, sent him a screenshot, and he's like, bro, that's fucking sick. And like, got to meet him. It was awesome, getting to hang out with him. He played an awesome set. His event was wicked. And got to meet a whole bunch of awesome legends. So shout out Mondo and Dumplings. They'll know what that means. And yeah, then after that, he, like, I think it was like a couple months after, he was like, man, like, when the timing's right, he's like, I want to obviously run a few events here and, obviously look after the Sydney crew, but I want to get you on one of the lineups. So I was like, cool, you name a time and place, man, and we'll make it happen. So, when, like, that is something to look forward to. When that time comes, I'll be in Sydney.
I feel like that's a good point to get into in your, like, DJing career, is that point where people go like, we want you at some point.
Look, it is always a nice feeling when people are like hitting you up like, hey, we want you. And, anytime like that happens, it is an awesome feeling, and it's like, cool. Anytime I've experienced that, I'm like, cool, like, that is so awesome to hear. Thank you so much. And, like, you want to work with them more, like, cool, tell me about what you want. Tell me what you need. Like, tell me what I can do more. Like, it's, if you reciprocate that same energy that they're wanting or they're giving you, it's always works, and it's great.
Well, that's the thing. And even if you rock up and the event's not as big as they said, or like, because that's what it comes down to, is like, sometimes events just don't pan out.
Sometimes
they're like, oh, we're going to sell heaps of tickets, and then something happens and they don't sell so many tickets. But if the whole experience getting there was nice and smooth, and it wasn't like trying to jump through hurdles, and it was just an easy process, when you go, you're like, well, I'm already here. Yeah. Let's just make it a good time. It was an easy time to get here. Yeah. I don't know. Perth events, I feel like, are the best events.
I would agree.
In my travels, I feel like something about Perth just has a charm to it.
I feel like, so with Perth events, you get a really great experience. You get a lot of things that you can see, do, experience. Like any UK events, it's like gritty, grungy. You're there, everyone's fucked. But like, it's just like some of like the best events over there, but best experiences for just like getting amongst it, getting, you know, a bit on one and experiencing that. Perth, you can definitely do that here, as we all know, but you can also experience many different things. You've got, it's catered to a lot of different things.
Yeah.
You know, like there's a snack New Year's Eve, well, not even New Year's Eve snack, but it's just snack as the whole festival. One thing that I know that they do really well is they have so many different stages with so much different music, different genres, and then they're selling an experience, and they're catering it definitely to a younger market.
Same with ice cream as well.
Well, yeah.
Like not with the amount of stages, but the experience of like going. It's a small vibe thing.
When Georgie first came over here, and I took her to all the festivals like Listen Out, Origin, Seasons, Snack, Summer Factory, like all of them, she literally said the same thing. Like, holy shit, like this is a different type of experience. I'm just used to like, you know, wearing your wellies and it's just like this like a meter thick of fucking mud, and it's just like the worst experience.
Or you're in a club that looks like a car park, like the one we went to in Bristol.
Oh yeah,
we're basically in a fucking warehouse. Not even just like this back storage room with a fucking like speaker that's as tall as this room and is about as wide, and it was going boom, boom. And it's like they had two lights. They had a red light and a white light, and they were just pulsating between them.
Jesus.
But that's the difference is there. I enjoy that more, just like because the darker music I like,
course,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But if I'm listening to like other genres of music like UKG or stuff like that, I want to be in a nicer feeling club. Like, I don't give a fuck about the club. I'm one of those people. It's just like, if the music's good, the music's good. Just like Sammy Virgie in a fucking car park.
Oh, that was sick.
Like,
that
you know
was
what I mean?
Sick. Yeah.
I walked in vomit. I didn't like it, but it was nice. It was something different. Like, I just couldn't care where it is. It's just a good vibe.
Hey, so long as the music's good, the vibe's all right.
But I feel like Perth is very picky with where things are. I feel like a lot of people like.
Do you mean like the punters?
Yeah. The punters. It's like if the club's not like anyone that comes from the UK and they come here and they're like, oh fuck, this is a actual nightclub. Like it's not a car park. But here people are like, if it's anywhere but a Magnet or a Wreckage Bite or Lucy's, I feel like people just don't get around it as much.
Yeah, I feel like that is correct, but I feel like those people, you know, when they go and travel, when they go to places like the UK and they go to places like the States, you know, like call it like the main locations, and they start going clubbing there, that's where I think you start getting perspective of like, hey, Perth is actually different, okay, for one, because we, you know, no place wants to be the same, so that's great. But like, you know, because I know when I started traveling, I started realizing that like, shit, okay, you know, did travel around the States, went to many different clubs there, and, you know, they had a whole different range of it, but they sell more like, they like promote more like, you know, that super club type feeling.
Yeah,
you know,
like the Metro
VIP,
City style thing. Yeah.
VIP, bottle service, and that's, you know, them, that's great. Obviously, especially in Vegas. But, you know, like in the UK, it's all like, you know, grungy, underground, deep clubs type stuff.
Yeah.
You know, it might be a bit rough around the edges.
No toilet doors, that style thing.
No toilets even at times. Who knows? But like, you know, when those people that, you know, might be in Perth and, you know, might, you know, I guess, you know, might be a bit picky, like if it isn't at those clubs that you just mentioned, they're like, nah, we're not going because we don't know those sort of clubs.
Yeah.
You know, when they realize, oh, that's what it's like everywhere else, they get that perspective and understanding like, okay, I can experience both, you know, a nicer feeling club, whatever, let's say Magnet House, and I can now like also appreciate a grungy underground club like, I don't know, but
Goodwill?
Goodwill, yeah, Goodwill. Actually.
Like that,
yeah,
that's kind of
sort of
probably
like
the closest
underground,
one.
sweaty. Yeah, that's actually
like
a good
fuck all
comparison.
aircon.
Yeah,
it's cold when you first walk in, and then when there's 200 people in there, you're like,
well, of course,
sweat bucket.
Of course, it's just gonna be a sweat box.
What
I mean, what else do you expect?
Yeah, that's the worst feeling though. We went to my mate did his first event, and he did it at was it 459? Oh, is it Rosemount? Like in the little side room, they got like a little side room. And it was actually fucking pretty. It was a cool venue. Like there wasn't that many crew got around it. Like it was a bit hard, but the people that were in there, and you were still cold. But I feel like it would be the same sort of their like aircon system because it's normally bands play there. It's not like DJs normally play there. So it's cold, like ridiculously cold. And we walked in there. I was wearing shorts. Tio didn't wear a jumper, and we were both like, "Yeah, I'm fucking cold."
You got no other choice but to like dance.
Yeah. Oh, it's just like that feeling compared to normally being sweaty and hot.
different, isn't it?
It's a different feeling.
Yeah, go clubbing anywhere in the UK during winter. Oh, it's cold as fuck.
Oh, it's and then the time we went there, and when did we go to Scotland? Like May. No, year before. Yeah. Was it May? May.
If it's Scotland, that's even colder.
It was spring, and we were both freezing.
Yeah.
Like,
They're a different breed of animal over there.
yeah, and I'm just like, you're going to a club, but you got to wear 5. They don't, obviously, but I'm there wearing 5 layers to go to this nightclub.
Yeah, that's how they know they're like, there's a tourist.
Yeah. The cunt walking around with 7 jumpers on.
Like, I am
Snow
not
boots.
warm.
Snow boots in April.
Yeah.
They're just like, we're nearly getting ready for singlets, man.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's different weather over there, but
Oh, yeah, but different kettle of fish.
just different breed of human, eh?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Nah. Oh, so we'll do the question of the week before I forget.
Question of the week. Here we go.
Yeah. So the question that last got asked. Oh, you didn't send it to me. Yeah, you can just say it into the microphone.
Are we ready?
Yeah.
The question was, would you rather shoot yourself on stage in front of an audience or be locked in a box with spiders for 1 minute?
Jesus Christ. All right, whoever asked that question, you suck. What type of spiders?
Every spider.
Every single spider on the planet.
Okay, so if we're going off that, right, we've got some fucked up spiders that could, like, if any of the most poisonous fucking spiders, they're jumping on you.
Yeah.
They're gonna bite you, no matter how fucking still you
If
are.
there's that many spiders,
And
as
then
well.
they're poisonous, and they're that many, and like, so I'm pretty much what I'm getting at. Even if it's a minute, like, I'm dead. So it's either a case of, would I rather shit myself or be dead?
What type of shit though? Oh, okay. Because I was gonna say, if you just dropped a log.
Jesus,
Yeah.
he's fucking descriptive. God, he's got a lot of time on his hands.
Yeah.
But still, it's either the case, like, this is where my mindset's going. You're that, like, taking a fucking, oh shit, dripping down, liquid diarrhea, whatever you want to call it, or you're dead. So,
You're gonna have to shoot
hey,
yourself on stage.
I'll shit myself on stage.
It's true.
And you know
I
what?
hope it's
I'll
not a
probably,
360.
oh fuck, no way. Hopefully you didn't say it has to be a 360 stage. Nah, it's like up festival, and like I'm just like cool, like I've got like towels, like just like the best fucking thing, like in a towel. I might even just be like, hey guys, sorry I shot myself. I'll see you in like 15.
Yeah. Just be back. Got to run to the low way.
Yeah, fuck. But yeah, I would probably do that
You'd
instead of
have
those
to,
spiders, because that's just cooked.
Don't like spiders.
No, it's not. Look, I understand spiders, there for a reason. I understand, like, I see the poisonous ones and I'm like, sup, you stay there.
Yeah.
I'm over here. But yeah, but then you get the old fly spray can, and I know some people will be like, no, obviously, let them live, and if they're not bugging me, and I
Yeah.
can guide them out, I definitely, and I always do this with will.
100%. It's the right thing to do.
It is the right thing to do. But then, like, funny story about this. The spiders in UK, they're there, believe it or not. Shock. Because I was definitely shocked. I didn't think they got spiders there. I was like, nah, they're just all in Oz. But nah, you got spiders in UK. But the spiders there, they're like, they don't bite. Like, they're nothing poisonous. So, like, anytime there'll be, like, any sort of spider, like, Georgie, she'd just be like, oh, it's a spider. Picks it up to go, like, chuck it out, like, the window. And I'm like, what the fuck are you doing?
Picking up a white tail.
Yeah, like, thinking it's just, like, a spider that's, like, gonna fucking bite her and just, like... Okay, Siri, just talking some shit about spiders. Thank you, not. So like she just picked it up and just saw it out. I'm like, okay, that might be poisonous. What the hell? And she's like, no, they're not poisonous. You can do that here. I'm like, never do that again in front of me. I will like, I would just be like, oh, so nervous every time. So like the first couple of times when like we'd see sort of spiders here, and I remember there was like one that was just like a tiny black, and then I could see it was like a tiny red bit there. I'm like, cool, that's a redback. And Georgie's like, oh, I'm about to go get it. Like just natural her. I whacked her hand away. I'm like, don't you dare do that. That is not a spider to do it. And she's like,
they don't actually kill you.
they're not, but they're fucking.
They'll
make
fuck you up.
They will fuck you up.
They'll fuck you
And
up.
I didn't want that spider to fuck her up. So I was like, Georgie, watch, observe, look at it. This is the redback. I became like David Attenborough. I was like, this is what you see as a redback spider. Just talking about like useless facts about it and stuff like that. And, so I had to sort of like, tell her like, cool, you don't pick them up for your own safety.
Yeah.
If you can like see them and you just watch them, and if they're just doing their thing, if they're outside the house, cool, let them do it. If they're inside the house, cool. See if you can watch them. If you can get like, ice cream container or like plastic container,
a
just
cup or
get them out
something.
there, whatnot. And obviously try to do it, but then there are times where like she's like, nah, fuck it, and I just hear shh. I'm like, oh god, no, she's doing it.
That's terrible. Oh, I remember. I got a fact talking about the UK and spiders and stuff.
In fact, cool. Here we
Right.
go.
So the UK only has 2 types of snakes.
Yep.
And they're both not dangerous to humans.
Yes.
Only one of them is dangerous to small mammals, like dogs.
Okay.
Yeah, that's my fact.
Thank you for your fact.
And I saw a snake
You saw a snake.
in the UK.
That's strange.
So I went camping with my mates, and we went to, because like over there you can like just walk through people's farms and stuff.
Yeah,
And it was just-
we do it all the time.
Yeah,
in Cornwall, it's fucking great.
And then there's just like, yeah, this was down near Cornwall.
Yeah.
So we're there, and it's pretty steaming. Oh, for me, it's not. I'm still wearing pants, but they're all like boiling hot. It's like 30 degrees. I'm still there in a pair of jeans. And they're like, we got to go for a swim. So I was like, oh, okay. So we're in there having a swim. I was like, what's on this little island just in the middle? And I've gone, I'm like, I need a piss. So I started pissing, and then literally all I hear is like a rustle. And like here you hear a rustle, you're like,
Fucking
shit.
jump anywhere. Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, there's few snakes here. Like there's so small number of snakes, it's not going to be a snake. And then all I see is fucking just the tail end of it. And I'm like, that's not a lizard. Because like here you can see a tail and you're like, that could be a lizard.
Yeah.
And I'm like, the only thing I thought was like, how the fuck have I just seen a snake in a country with only 2 types that have less than like a couple thousand population, and I've managed to nearly piss on one. Imagine walking out, I've been bitten by a snake in the UK. No one would know what to do.
Bro, you'd get so much shit as well from all of us back here. Like,
How did you go to a country with
you
no
go to
snakes?
a
and get
country,
bitten?
no snakes, and you got bit by a fucking snake. Well, that is a
I got another
funny-
snake fact.
Oh, here we go. Now he's coming off with the facts, eh?
So in Albany, have you been in Albany?
Yeah.
So you got the 2 Mount Clarence and Mount Melville.
Yep.
You got the 2 hills. So there's tiger snakes and skinks.
Yep.
So the skinks would eat all the tiger snake eggs, and the tiger snake population was like going down.
Yep.
So what they did is they went on a huge journey, and they collected all the skinks and skink eggs off of Mount Melville, and they put them on Mount Clarence. And they took all the tiger snakes off of Mount Clarence, as many as they could find, and put them on Mount Melville, and they killed out each other on both mountains, so that now on Mount Clarence you can walk anywhere on Mount Clarence and not worry about snakes, but on the other one you have to worry about tiger snakes. So there you go.
There you go. Facts about snakes.
Yeah.
Who would have thought?
Who would have thought natural selection would work that well?
Isn't that the whole point of natural selection? Yeah. Sounds about
Look,
right.
The guy might have been called natural, okay?
Maybe, but we're getting a bit off topic.
Right, what's your question?
Look. Well, my question isn't going to be that interesting, probably. My question for the next person that's on this podcast is, I want to know what the main reason you have, whether it's your main, so like, what is the main reason for why you do the thing that you do to the quality you do it. So I will say that again.
Yeah.
I want to know what is the main thing, or the main thing that drives you to do the thing that you do to the quality you do.
What's your answer to that?
My answer to it.
Yeah.
So what drives me to do the thing that I do, which is
Yeah.
perform, DJ, what is it about it? It's the experience. It's I want people to have a good time. It's music. It's just generally having a good time, being able to perform and deliver an unforgettable experience. That's my goal. As I said, the ultimate goal is, when people in Perth, outside of Perth, international think, cool, Perth, Australia, house music, Kid Caird.
Kid Caird.
That's it.
That's very short, sweet, and straight to the point.
Straight to the point. And, we're on the way for it, hopefully.
Yeah, fucking oath. I reckon so.
Oh.
Right, should we do Song of the Week?
Song of the week. This
Right.
one here is an absolute tune. Pretty much been having it on repeat ever since it's been released. It is Hypnotic by Max Styler.
Should I start at a certain point?
Yes, you probably give it a. I'll probably cook it now, but it's all good. I reckon probably do it about here.
Go.
What, you want me to hold it up to?
No. Just
No.
play it. You gotta fade it in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just so good. Yeah.
I like that.
No, you would.
Yeah. Had like little build up for no reason.
Yep. It's
like
it's that build up. It's just it's so good.
That's nice.
Yeah.
I like that. Oh, it's already added to my list. I like that.
Love
That's
it.
a really good song.
Yeah. He is a wicked producer.
Where's he from?
He's from the States.
True.
Yeah.
Dude, is there more artists for that type of music from the States or from like Europe, do you reckon?
Definitely, I definitely think States would be the leaders of, like, I guess, more established artists, because over in US there's just so many different places that froth it so much. Europe, you can get a good mixture of house music, but then also like big room house, trance, fucking techno, because you got fucking Berlin.
Yeah.
They love their techno.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I think the States definitely would be leading on it. UK and Europe would obviously be sort of the second. Oz, we're putting Oz on the map. We're there.
Yeah. Well, Fisher fucking trying to spearhead it, isn't he?
Oh mate, he is spearheading it.
He is just the loudest bloke in the room.
Oh man, but his energy is again unmatched.
That bloke has too much energy, eh?
Bro, I think I have energy, and then I like watch him play, and I'm like, yeah, no, I ain't got shit.
No, that bloke has like, I don't think ADHD medication would even. They don't have strong enough ADHD medication to deal with that bloke.
Yeah, I reckon.
Like at all, like
I agree.
not any good. Right, mine is Suffocating. I don't know how to say their names.
Suffocating. I don't know how to say their names. Sorry, I haven't heard of them.
No, Clark. I don't know. Can you say those names? The first one.
Oh, Clank, AC Slater, Queen Mills.
This is sort of the closest I can get to your music.
Well, I'm interested now. You still got some research to do for house music.
Oh no, I do. I'm gonna go home and start.
Yeah, that's a groovy one.
Like, what would you call this?
This is definitely on that like bass housey type stuff, because Night Bass, that's that label is more catered to that sort of like heavier bass housey style.
Yeah.
Like pretty much Chris Lorenzo would have like all of like that sort of music, within his sets, because that's like his sort of style. So like Chris Lorenzo, he's always been one of my.
Yeah, I know. I've heard it before, but yeah, exactly. And I was like, it's perfect.
Perfect. It's like, this is a song of the week. It
Yeah.
is.
Yeah, good. Perfect timing.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, so Chris Lorenzo, his style of music definitely is on like that heavy sort of tech house stuff. So like, one of my biggest inspirations, Chris Lake as well, Biscuits. I could list off a whole bunch, but yeah, you did good with that selection.
Yeah, you like it?
Sorry.
Tio,
You
did good with that selection, yeah.
Yeah, there you go. You guys can't see it, but she's curtsy.
Do you know what I was pissed off about? I don't know if you would be, but Petit Biscuit, fucking
Petite Biscuit. Or
yeah.
Petite Biscuit.
No, sorry. Why am I fucking saying that? No, sorry, Porter Robertson.
Yeah.
Not coming to Perth, bro.
Yeah, it was not a good time.
Bro, I just wanted to see him.
Bro, Eric Prid's not coming to Perth, although he was just doing Melbourne shows, and
Yeah.
his Halo performance, that is like a definitely bucket list moment. I couldn't go over which was I think like just last weekend. One of my mates did. He just put all in his stories, so I just lived vicariously through his stories for however long.
Who else was that? Who else was in Melbourne last weekend? Tio, who was in Melbourne last week? Tio and Carter went to see him. Millennium.
Oh, yes. Nice. Yeah.
But like that's what I mean. Like if you're just playing one show in like Melbourne or Sydney, okay, is what it is.
Yeah.
But if you're doing the whole East Coast, just pop over here.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
There is a whole like. There is, you've got to think of so many things in terms of like when you're doing a tour, making sure that you got to like try make sure you get the numbers, make sure the right tickets,
Yeah.
make sure right crowd, all that sort of stuff. And yes, unfortunately, Perth does sometimes get a bit left out, but we still do get some artists
Oh,
through. And the
look-
artists that do come through, you know, it's, I think they do, yeah. And, there is such a huge appreciation from the punters for those artists that make it over there.
Oh,
Those
100%.
artists may not be aware of it, but every artist that does come out to Perth, Perth really does appreciate all of it. So in short, artists, if you think about coming to Perth, do it because we will love you. We already do, but we'll love you even more.
And we'll make you do a shoey.
Cool. And get me for support.
Shameless plug.
Not shameless because I got no shame.
Just a plug.
Just a plug. Yeah. Kid Caird, also known as plug.
Do you reckon? So you did in the UK, because I forgot to ask earlier. So when you did your UK tour thing,
Yeah.
I looked at the thing. Was it only London, or like those other shows? Did you add any other shows?
So
I remember you saying you were going to.
I played a couple in London. I played one up in Chichester, I believe. I think that's how you pronounce it. I think it was Chichester. I have to look at the fucking tour poster I made.
It was actually a sick tour poster.
Yeah.
Your artwork, bro, it's fucking clean.
A lot of the time, like, there'll be times I'll just get my best mate Furman, who does all graphic artwork designers, but hey, could you please like help me make this? My latest one, that was like all on me on just Canva, which is just an awesome place to like make some like basic tour posters.
100%. Especially when you don't really give a fuck about it, if you know what I mean. It's like it looks good enough. It's not like
yeah,
you're
It's
the
just-
biggest club ever.
yeah. Well, it's like my art is all about music and experience, and it's like I obviously put that bit of energy into obviously artwork and tour
Yeah.
posters, but I don't like more like if I'm making it realistic, it's more relatable to people.
Yeah,
if you do
that's it.
something that's like over the top and over like edited and fake, people are just like, yeah, cool, it's another over edited photo. I don't give two shits. But it's like, oh, that's actually like a funny photo. Oh, that's
Actually resonates. It's simple and sweet.
yeah. So London, Cheltenham, not Chichester, Bournemouth, and
Bournemouth.
yeah, Bournemouth. That was like very much down south. South of London, like about a 2-hour train ride away. That was at Bournemouth Sevens. That festival was so much fun.
Yeah?
Bunch of college kids just going hard. So it was fucking hilarious. But it was really cool fun. Played a couple of shows actually there for the festival. And then I was teeing up something for Brighton, but that didn't go through. So that's obviously going to be happening. We're going to put the pieces together for next time I'm there.
Bournemouth. That is such a weird, like,
Yeah, but it worked, and it was awesome.
it's always that place that's just so obscure.
Yeah, but it's actually a nice place on the coast.
Bournemouth.
Beautiful.
I've never been that side, like, so I have family in Bristol, so I've been down like
Yeah.
Cornwall, Devon,
Yeah,
like that side. I've never been like London,
further down.
like the London side,
definitely.
you would say.
Definitely recommend
But-
doing it.
That whole bottom is beautiful.
Yeah.
Isle of Man. I'd love to go to the Isle of Man.
Oh man, so good.
See the fucking motorbike riders.
Oh
The
yeah.
Isle of Man, fucking jeep. Fuck.
That's a whole nother story.
Yeah, whole nother story for another time, eh?
Absolutely.
Right, we'll end off on word to the wise. Have you got some word to the wise?
Word to the wise. Don't take life too seriously. Have fun. Be a kid. Do what I do. If you're not having fun in life, then life becomes pretty boring, pretty dull. So, word to the wise. Don't take life so seriously. Have some fun. Be a kid.
That's it. That's pretty humbling. That's it. Just be a kid.
Just be a kid.
Just be a kid.
That's what I'm doing.
Forever and always.
Literally.
Right, man. Well, cheers for coming on.
No, thank you
Been
for
a
having
pleasure,
me on.
Pleasure to have you as my first artist that's not
Where are you going with that?
a drum and bass or dubstep artist.
Yeah, different artist, different realm. Hopefully,
Yeah.
you now have a bit of a understanding and maybe a bit not perspective, but have more of an understanding of
100%.
what I do and house music and that whole realm.
Well, I feel like it's a bit easier to talk like this than fucking over music at a.
Yeah, they're like, what? What? Can't
Yeah.
hear shit.
Sorry, say it again.
Yeah.
And you sat there talking for fucking hours.
Next
about
time I
the one
see you out
topic.
at the Rove, it's gonna be exactly that though.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. and
Well, I've appreciated you coming on.
I appreciate you having me. It's been a pleasure.
So people can obviously, I'll link all your shit down in the description.
Fantastic.
Is there anything big coming up other than year 2 in, what was it, Boxing Day and...
So I'm playing a couple of shows. So 22nd, I'm co-headlining Summer Factory. Then Boxing Day playing down at Motif Open Air. New Year's Eve, I'm playing at Block Party, doing a special set. First sort of concepts, we're calling it the Disco Caird special. Within the name, be there for a great funky time. That's all I'm going to say. New Year's Day, we'll be back at Coastport Beach for Cargo and Cali. And then from there, it's just the focus is just music. Play a handful of shows. I only want to play a handful of shows. Coming very soon, I've got my last release of 2023. Keep your eyes open. It's, you will be getting a great Christmas present from it if you love it.
So it's before Christmas. That's good.
Yeah. So that's all I'm going to say. But yeah, it's coming very soon. Real groover, and it goes off in the club. I road tested it last weekend, and it did not disappoint.
Does bop.
Does bop indeed.
Fucking oath. Oh well, man. Well, it's keen to see you doing bits for everyone.
Thanks, man.
We'll catch you on the decks, eh?
Awesome. We'll see you there.
Catch you later. Bye.